And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Talking NASCAR podcast. It is episode number 27, and I am back with the one and only bias, Ken Pom Pom. Ken Pom Pom. Ryan's back.
Let us start to the episode.
Back to
Ken Pom Pom.
You're in back-to-back videos. For the first time in God knows how long. And yeah, you're a guest today. First time in a while we've had a guest. You're still our only guest on this podcast. We're going to change that soon, though. Hitmaster's got a couple of his friends that he wants to get on. So that'll be good. But you're on for a very specific reason. You were there last weekend, I guess, at Las Vegas. So we'll get you on to talk. We'll get you to talk about all of your experience there. We've got some other news stuff. You might notice Hitmaster's missing again. There was an unexpected thing he had to do. He will be on at some point during the podcast. We'll see. Now, before we do anything, though, I went to Walmart the other day, and I found a new drink. It's kind of become a Talking NASCAR podcast staple to try new drinks in this thing. So I'm going to try it. This is a new Sunkist flavor called Mango Orange Sunkist. Not a big mango fan, but I'm going to give it a shot.
I'd like to introduce my drink will be water for the episode.
My drink
I'm hiding the secret sticker. There will be a sticker unveil.
You got your merch ready, right?
During the episode. Yes, that's
cool.
part of the thing. I'm going to drink off screen. I don't want to do this. I don't want to reveal the sticker.
This smells pretty good. That's a good sign. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Wow. That's really good, actually. A little strong on the mango, but honestly, it doesn't have any business working, but it works.
Are you lifting your pinky while you're drinking that?
Fancy. That's a SpongeBob reference. Alright, so, Brian, you need no introduction. You've been on Pringleson channel for almost as long as I have. You've been on here before, so we will get you to your experience at Las Vegas in a minute. We'll first talk about the two races that preceded the Cup race. First, for the trucks, I did get to watch a good majority of this race. There were a lot of wrecks, especially in the first half of the race, which is so far this season become the norm for the Truck Series as well as the Xfinity Series, for a lot of early crashes. And there's no exception here. The second half of the race was pretty clean. Everybody was riding Kyle Busch's ass going into the weekend. And he showed up in the truck race, dominating the entire thing, and winning in big fashion in the KBM truck, getting the win. So, I don't know, it was a pretty good race overall, I guess. I don't know. I don't really like races that have a bunch of wrecks at the beginning and then nothing in the end of the race. I usually like the wrecks near the end of the race. It provides a little more suspense, in my opinion. Especially when, like, all the good cars are taken out, like, in the first 10 laps of the race, like Talladega or whatnot. It usually doesn't make it for a fun watching experience. But what are you gonna do? And then the Xfinity race, I didn't get to watch any. Did you get to watch any?
I watched the last, 30 laps or so. I was in a suck. I got to catch the end of it. That was really fun ending to the race, at least. It looked like, from what I've heard, it was a pretty overall good race. But, nice, chasing down at the end. Under green, they're able to catch the car out in front. It was a nice ending. I really didn't think there was going to be anything there, but it ended up being a nice, clean ending to the race, and that was fun to watch in the sports book. We'll get to betting later, but
Yeah, there was a last lap pass.
you get to catch the end of that during my trip, and it was pretty good.
I think it was Austin Hill, right? I'm just checking real quick. Hold on. Yep, Austin Hill, last lap pass for the win. Pretty exciting finish there. So good redemption, I think, for him. So, but I didn't really get to watch much of it. I'll ask Hitmaster when he gets on if he got to watch any of it. Without further ado, though, it's your turn. You can talk about just your day at the track. You can talk about your experience at the track. You can talk about your entire Vegas experience. The floor is all yours. Talk about as much as you want. The more the merrier.
All right, I can't talk about my entire Las Vegas experience. I did enough stupid stuff. But as I was saying, I was at the sportsbook the day before. I did bet on the race. Who am I going to bet on? But Joey Logano. It didn't work. But I still made money in the other bets I made.
You bet
we got the important parts out of the way.
You bet on the Xfinity race?
My experience.
Or did you bet on the Cup race?
I was watching the Xfinity race. I bet on the Cup race. I bet on Logano. But while my dad was making the bets, the end of the Xfinity race was on. Because, they have a billion TVs in there. So that's why I was watching the end of the Xfinity race.
Nice.
On Saturday. Pulling up the track, it's not that far from downtown. Maybe 30 minutes out. I believe it's to the northeast. I wasn't really paying attention to that. But surprisingly nice parking lots. It's real concrete. You're not just parking on grass. Then you walk. It's not too far of a walk from any of the parking lots. It's a much smaller complex. Then you get out to all the haulers. That's how I pronounce the word.
How are the haulers?
But they have a smaller collection. I think they're better than last year.
Were they?
Obviously, it's the third race of the season, so there are still last year's stuff in them for the most part. But from what I remember, obviously Elliott gets his own hauler. The other 300 drivers shared one. Penske shared one. Stewart-Haas shared one. The normal shebang. Colleague and Trackhouse shared one.
Does Kyle Busch still have his own hauler?
I don't. No. I think it was just RCR was together. RCR, yeah.
Pitmaster's here.
Hello.
All right.
So I have met you before. Never mind.
Yes. What's up?
We just started talking
George?
about Vegas, so the Cup race.
Sorry about the
both of you were George. It's okay. All right, George. So yeah, the hauler experience is pretty nice. The Speedway has its own standalone gift shop. So there's not like a hauler for. Yeah, it was nice. Except for the fact Samantha Bush was there, but we set that aside. The haulers were better.
Wait, question. She was at the gift shop. Hello. Hello.
You've crashed. Every couple minutes you stop working for me, Tyler.
So Samantha Bush was at the gift shop?
Yeah, she had an appearance. How at like the Ford booth or the fan zone or whatever, they'll have appearances. She did one at the gift shop.
Usually they bring on actual drivers, not a driver's wife. I guess
they did. I saw Kyle Busch. I saw Ryan Blaney. I saw Christopher Bell. I saw AJ Allmendinger.
That's pretty
there was a lot less.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, but I will show you all the merchandise from the official store. Got the official race pin. Here's my camera.
Oh my god, that's such a cool
camera.
Pin. That is such a cool race pin.
Poker chip.
Oh my
Enzo
god.
400.
You should have gotten me one. If you had told me that's what they were looking like, I would ask you to get me one. That was really fucking cool. Okay, it's all right.
That's
That's
stolen valor, Tyler. Also, I could not send you anything. um, and then a sticker. This is the sticker reveal, friends. This is on my water bottle.
wild. It's a pretty cool sticker.
And then I have other stickers. That's not the point. I love stickers. Then from the Logano hauler, got 2 from this season I've been missing. Got this throwback. Got his Horizon scheme.
Wait, that's this year's
solid
throwback?
pickups. No, 2022.
Oh, okay.
Those are last year's stuff because it's only the 3rd race of the season. They don't have a lot of 2023 cars out yet. And then for NASCAR's 75th anniversary, they had their own NASCAR Classics hauler. So it's got all sorts of old merchandise. That's all sorts of 75th anniversary stuff. So I got a pin set, 5-pin set of the logos NASCAR has used throughout its history.
You know what? That's gonna be at MIS too. Holy shit!
Probably.
Unless they run out of stuff. But they
Maybe.
probably are just, the factories
I
are
don't
probably
think anybody's.
the shop.
This was $50, Tyler.
Holy okay, never mind. Never mind then. Was that 6 pins or 5?
It's 5, and then they have the little thing on the bottom saying what it is,
like
and it comes in this nice little case.
Oh, it's in the case. That's probably why it's up to $50.
Well, you can take it out of the case and pin them up, but I'm just going to set this. This is going to go in my dorm. I have my little pin board over there. This is where I keep all my pins for the most part, but this isn't propped up somewhere nice. It's getting displayed.
Nice.
But that was a birthday present, so I didn't actually spend $50. And that was the stuff I got from the track. I lied. One of the little things they had. I'm sorry, I'm kind of improving this. There's a photo booth. You can get little photo booth stickers. I'm not going to show them because, well, my dad's in them. But
Wild.
they had a photo booth. You could get little things. And that was the other souvenir I got. Missing anything? No, those were the souvenirs. So yes, that's going back to my pin board. The other things are heading to my dorm to be displayed because I think they're very cool. Then the actual track, it's a very nice view. There's not a bad seat in the house. You can really see everything from everywhere. The main front stretch seats, they are now, they took out every other row, so each row has a little table thing in front of it to sneakily reduce capacity, but still makes everything look more full. That section was mostly full, and then in turn 4 and turn 1, our sections are about half full.
A pretty good crowd.
There was, not a bad crowd, especially considering they have 2 races now. There was a pre-race concert. It was all right. I mean, it was kind of exactly what you'd expect.
Who was it?
From a guy named Uncle Cracker.
Uncle Cracker? He's actually pretty good. I like him. Probably not the best to watch. Probably not the best concert to watch probably not the best concert to watch in a NASCAR race, but hey. Not the worst concert you can watch in a
it was
NASCAR race.
11 in the morning local time. I kind of needed a little boost. I was bored.
He's the kind of guy to give you he's like a morning coffee type of guy. So there you go.
Yeah. Outrageous prices for stadium food.
That's an
but yeah, that's kind of how it goes. But
so what was it like?
Yeah, even compared to I went to the Twister after the race, and their prices. George, what are you doing?
Okay, you got a background
I
set up.
keep fucking muting this. God damn it. Continue.
This is a Hitmaster moment.
Significantly worse than even it's a stadium.
What was you talked about the race, the haulers in the parking. What was the other besides the seats, what was there else to do? Is it all on the front stretch like it is in MIS, or is it kind of also going off into the turns kind of thing?
But the front stretch was sparse compared to how it's been at MIS. Not only like you've frozen for me again, Tyler. You should probably. You said your Wi-Fi was bad. Okay, we're all caught up. Tyler, you should investigate your internet skill issue.
It's not doing great, but it's all right. We're doing good.
I mean, it's perfect for me, but
We're hanging in there. We're hanging in there.
In any case, not a lot to do.
Interesting.
Not a lot to do.
Fuck. What else? So how was the weather? I didn't see it was even that warm there. It was like in the 50s.
It was like 50s the entire time. So I was wearing the hoodie and sweatpants, and I was a little cold. It was windy and cloudy, so it was like, it was not really great racing
must
weather.
have been nice.
I was kind of hoping on my trip to the Southwest I'd have warm weather, but never got above 60.
I mean, it's better than 20 degrees how it was here.
Yeah, I mean, take it what you can get,
This is two late winter trips in a row. Like when I went to Dallas.
Wild.
But I mean, that was most the I wanted to cover. Got out of the track really quickly, but we just like kind of booked it because we wanted to go somewhere else right after. But overall, the view was nice. The haulers were nice. The other facilities were nice, but it felt like there was something lacking that you get at MIS. I don't know. It just feels like MIS is more of a grand scale. That's more just the size of the tracks.
I feel like it's also like more of the reception of the race, like MIS. That like there's nothing like Michigan as a state is a lot more of a racing state than like Nevada, which is basically gambling and desert.
No, the desert part is Arizona.
It's the entire Southwest.
Nevada is the middle of nowhere when you drive 15 miles out of Las Vegas. There's nothing there, but it's not exactly a racing city. But the point is, like, you're supposed to travel to Las Vegas for the race, and then you do all these stuff you normally do in Las Vegas. But I didn't really do that. I wasn't, I wasn't doing much gambling. I just did a couple bets on the race, and then I'm too young to do all the other stuff you do in Las Vegas. So I went to some Commerce tournament games.
So,
speaking of which, what kind of concourse games do they have?
On the concourse, they didn't have anything much. It was really, there was a main booth where you could have a couple like spin the wheels. It was really not a lot. Just the main like Pennzoil stage, a main Toyota stage, and like 3 other activities.
So like the areas that usually have like the cars and like the giveaways and like the newsletter stuff and whatnot, like you'd find at other tracks.
Yeah, there was less of that.
Okay. What were so you told me about one absurd policy that Las Vegas has. What was kind of like the rules? How are they different from other places you've been, I guess, or other tracks?
I see what you're trying to say. The policy for this race was you could not bring in your own cooler. You had to,
which is bullshit.
You were allowed 1 food item and 1 drink item, and you could bring those in, and you can bring in anything else. Way to editorialize it, Tyler.
Oh my god, I hate tracks these days.
In my case, it wasn't too bad because it was in the 50s, so we just each...
I think the race also started at 12:30 local time. I don't know what time the track opened or when you got there, but like you probably didn't spend as much time at the track as you would spend at like MIS, which is like a 3:30 local start, or even like Bristol, which was a 7:30 local start. So.
Okay, real quick, I want to say something. You cut out there a little bit, Tyler. So on my, when I was hearing it, it sounded like you said just like my ass. That's all I heard. I didn't hear MIS.
Yeah, just like my ass. I don't know what my Wi-Fi is doing tonight. I don't know why it's probably because the TV's on. The TV goes on, the Wi-Fi just goes to complete shit down here for some reason. I don't know why, but oh well. So
are you gonna flip off the router?
The router's not down here. We used to have a router down here, and then I don't know what we do. It might still be down here, but it's all the way over there. So flipping it off would be useless. Yeah, no cooler policy. I mean, I guess that makes sense. I guess for Vegas it's not as bad. That just seems like but like for like the September race, right? When it's like 106 degrees.
Yeah, it
seems kind of like it's gonna kill people.
I'd only really be mad if it was like a super hot day. Yeah, at Nashville it was really bad because they ran out of water bottles.
That's a Nashville moment.
No, it wouldn't be too bad unless it's a really hot day. But
or like if
I didn't mind it. I just gotta say,
I can remember.
Yeah.
Go ahead if you're finishing.
No, I don't know. It was not too bad for us, but I've been the time before this when I went to Las Vegas it was 107 degrees the day we were doing stuff, so could have been worse.
Right.
I can remember one time I went to MIS and it was like for some reason like 90 to 100 degrees, and I think this was also one of the times where you couldn't bring in anything like now. And
what do you mean you can't bring anything in MIS?
I mean like coolers and everything. You couldn't bring in anything like coolers and stuff like that. I think it wasn't last year. I think it was the year before.
You could always bring in coolers to MIS, I thought.
I mean, this year I couldn't even bring an umbrella, or last year I couldn't even bring an umbrella in because I knew it was going to rain, and they said no, you can't bring that. And I'm like,
I think I remember that. I think we had to bring ponchos when it rained that one year when Dale Jr. won. By the way, ponchos suck for me. Either I'm going with an umbrella or I'm just gonna get soaked. I don't care.
I was the lucky one, since that was the time I met Joey Logano when he was a rookie, and it was so hot outside, but I was up on the top with all the cool air and everything, and I'm just looking down at all the fans like, fuckers, just all burning in heat, hot as hell. Just like, I got to meet Joey Logano, and also I'm cool.
That's what it was last time I was at MIS 2021. It was boiling. Then we got to the seats, and it wasn't that bad. But the minute we left the seats, I almost passed out due to heat exhaustion, because it all caught up with me.
That was also the year when I saw Jeff Gordon and what's his name go by, because my head was hurting because of all the heat, and I was just like, I'm gonna go cool down, and I just saw them walk by, and I'm like, yes.
All right. Anyway, so Brian, rate your. How about final thoughts about Vegas? Rate your experience.
1 to 10.
Out of 10, yeah. Okay, I don't think it was that bad. You had to leave.
I guess it was a 0.
Like it's like a -4 rating. Holy crap. Word of mouth and don't go to Vegas. It'll make you leave Discord calls.
I did not leave the call, Tyler.
What? Okay.
I was kicked.
You were kicked out.
I was kicked out. Okay, what were we talking?
Rate your experience out of 10 at Vegas. What'd you say?
I don't know, man. Well, it's hard for me to rate it without including the fact my driver got wrecked.
Try to take the actual race out of it. We'll talk about that in a minute.
The actual race,
Or just like
taking it's like a 6.5. I think it's Las Vegas. It's okay, but I like Michigan and Dover better. The ones I've been to.
Okay, so you'd say it's number 3 out of the ones you've been to?
Out of the 3.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. You ever want to go to Las Vegas, viewers? Take this guy's advice about it. Can't bring in a cooler.
My advice is don't go to Las Vegas.
Yeah, go anywhere. Go somewhere. Go
They
somewhere
waste
better.
water over there, according to Tyler.
That's the thing. Okay. Were there any fountains at the track? Every facility at Vegas has like 6 fountains blasting water 60 feet in the air. Did you see that at the track?
No.
No. Okay.
No. They were just They were like drinking fountains and restrooms, but nothing like that.
Drinking fountain moment. Okay. Cool. Before we get to the Cup race, Hitmaster, we talked about the other 2 races before. Did you watch any of the Xfinity race?
I didn't watch any of the Xfinity race, or if the trucks were racing, I didn't watch any of the trucks.
Okay.
I only was able to watch the Cup Series race, which is very odd because usually it's the other way around when I'm watching the trucks or Xfinity and not the Cup.
Alrighty, then we will jump right into the Cup race. Yeah, I got to watch pretty much all of this, and it's I gotta say, it's only been 3 races, and this was probably the best of the TV broadcast so far, but that's not saying much at all. It's been awful. Your race watching experience, Brian, was probably 10 times better than mine, just because you didn't have to listen to Clint Boyer and Danica Patrick banter all around.
No.
Well,
yeah. It was a really great view of the track. You could see everything. It was just there was really not a lot going on. Because stage 1 went caution free, stage 2 went caution free. Stage 3 had like the Logano wreck near the start, and then went caution free until 4 laps to go. So really, there was a ton of green flag racing. The field got really spread out, and there were maybe 1 or 2 battles going on at once. So it was honestly not the most entertaining race.
no,
and after Logano wrecked, we were really kind of having a rough go of it up there. And then there was a caution, and we got to see an exciting finish, which it was an actual caution. Like, there's no doubt about that, but it was, it wasn't a manufactured thing at all. It just, made the end of the race fun, so it was nice. But
I heard a lot of people complaining on Instagram about like the caution and why there was no yellow thrown for the wreck on the last lap. And I get why they threw the yellow for Almirola. Even though it might have screwed over Larson. I don't know if it really did, but probably did, but oh well. But yeah. William Byron dominated the race. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
I would sympathize with the Larson got jobbed argument a bit more if Byron wasn't the winner, because Byron led the entire first 2 stages. It wasn't like he was a bad car all day. Like, he was the best car for most of the day. Larson was the best car for most of the day. And then a late caution happens. If it went to anybody other than Byron or Larson, I was going to be a little like, come on, guys. But I think it was a bit of a... I can't really feel bad for Larson there. He still ended up with a nice finish, and it wasn't really a non-deserving car.
What about Alex Bowman?
He ran pretty good, I think.
Maybe. Yeah.
He did
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hendrick really did have a strong showing this weekend. Outside of we'll get to the
Josh.
We'll get to the 4th Hendrick car in a minute.
Josh Berry.
Here, guys, we'll give you a hint. There you go.
Look, okay, he was thrown in the car last minute. First start with this car. He didn't crash. So
No, he did not.
I'll give him credit where credit is due. Right. We'll get to the.
That feels like a bit of a dig, Tyler.
We'll get to the Chase. There was a big update about Chase Elliott's situation since the last episode, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, William Byron dominated the race. There were not a lot of cautions at all. Vegas has put on some pretty good races recently, so this was kind of a little bit of a letdown because I thought it was going to be better racing than it was. I didn't get to see the Logano crash because I was eating dinner, and that was the best part of the race. So that sucked. But
Some people.
Brutal. No, what happened was Logano was on the outside of 3 wide for more than a lap, with Keselowski in the middle and Kyle Busch on the bottom. It just so happened Logano, he took the high line around the turn, and then Keselowski just got loose, sort of slid up into Logano, and Logano got turned around. I mean, it's kind of what's going to happen when you try to go side for that long on restart. It's just kind of like Logano didn't cause anything, Keselowski didn't cause anything. It was just an unfortunate thing that happened. So I can be sad about it, but I can't be mad about it. I can't be mad at anybody.
We can blame Bush about it.
We can blame Kyle Busch.
Let's just blame him for everything.
Yeah.
Blame Kyle Busch.
Yeah, Kyle Busch's fault.
Everybody was picking Kyle Busch to win that race. He didn't run that good.
Well, yeah.
He hit the wall a couple times. He was off the pace. He was not doing so hot. But
It's his hometown. That's why he's going to get picks.
he's never been that good at Vegas. So that's why I wasn't too high on him winning. Is because he won there in 2009. I remember. It took Kurt Busch. It took Kurt what was it, 18 years to win at Vegas. So
Yeah. 2021. Yeah.
Was
2020?
Was it 2021? I thought it was 20. It was 2020. So
2020, yes.
Took 19 years for him to win at his home track. And Kyle Busch has only ever won there once either. So it's like I'm not picking him to win there.
I just realized I have the most important souvenir I haven't showed off yet from the day.
Yep.
Are you ready?
Oh my god.
You got okay. You must talk about In-N-Out Burger. I forgot all about this.
Okay. In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, excuse me.
Talking. I'd say it's still a tier below Shake Shack and Five Guys in terms of purely the burger, but it's like a tier below Shake Shack in price and like 2 tiers below Five Guys in price. So really, In-N-Out's a really good burger option that I would get all the time if it was around here. That would be my go-to fast food burger.
It might be coming. We'll see.
However, the fries are terrible. They're like D tier fries.
The In-N-Out Burger fries. Well,
they don't really have any flavor. They just taste like potatoes, and they're like small and not really good.
They are called In-N-Out Burger, not In-N-Out Fries. So you have to. Fries are probably not going to be their strong suit here. Come on.
Well, that's what
Five Guys isn't the same thing, but yeah, their fries are delicious.
Their fries are so good. But I guess they are technically Five Guys burgers and fries. But also, Shake Shack fries are better, and Shake Shack is technically ice cream.
Well, Five Guys.
If you want to be pedantic about it like that.
See, Five Guys is also 5 times the price, so yeah.
Yeah. No, if In-N-Out were around here, I'd get In-N-Out all the time. But the fries are not good. That's my thought.
Good to know. Shit. The fuck were we talking about? Oh yeah, the race. William Byron wins. He is the 11th driver locked into the New Year's Eve Spectacular this year, the 6th off of winning this season. So that's pretty cool. That's cool. 11 locked in. Nice. All right. So that's. Les got any lasting thoughts on Las Vegas?
I have one thing to say.
Okay.
And that is William Byron makes Chevy 3-0 this year on wins. Because if you think about it, Ricky Stenhouse won at Daytona, Kyle Busch won at Auto Club, and then William Byron wins at Las Vegas. Chevy,
True.
Chevy, Chevy.
That's true. He's there 3-0.
Let's see if they can go for 4-0 next week. Even though I don't think that's going
Maybe.
to happen. But
There was a statistic I saw on Twitter or whatever that 3 of the last 4 races held on March 12th. The winner of that race has gone on to win the title. It was Truex has, Dale Earnhardt in 2000 didn't, and then the 2 before him did. I don't remember who it was. So keep that in mind for your Phoenix predictions. The winner of that race will go on to win the championship. It's kind of a lock.
imagine if Ricky Stenhouse was to win because he won the Daytona 500.
That would be crazy.
I think that statistic's not going to happen, seeing that the second of the 4 happened 23 years ago. So,
Well,
shows that
it's
a
the
very
date
wide-
March 12th.
That's true. Yeah.
But I don't really have any lingering last thoughts on Las Vegas. I've said everything I need to say. So thank you guys for having me on the Talking NASCAR podcast to elaborate on this.
You should stay. We got news.
I have to be awake. I have to be awake in 8 hours. I need to sleep. I need to fold my laundry. And I need to go to bed. It's already 10:30.
If you insist to leave, you can leave.
I don't. We talked about this. Whatever.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
wanted to break
Thank
it up
you all
into
for having me on the podcast.
This is like a
talked.
breakup
Thank you.
Tyler's having.
We've had our divorce already.
And the marriage.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
I won't prolong this segment any longer. Adios.
thank you for coming on.
Adios.
See ya.
And boink.
And we're down to
Now it's the normal.
me and you. All right, we got some news to talk about. The big one, the very big one that happened. Obviously, the update on the Chase Elliott situation. A lot of information was released about that. He is going to be out for approximately 6 weeks, which I don't know I think that starts after the injury, so including Vegas. So he's down to about 5 weeks now, I think it is. He had tibia surgery. It's also been confirmed Josh Berry will continue to fill in for the oval races, and Jordan Taylor will be filling in for Circuit of the Americas for the road course race. That was confirmed. It was also confirmed that Chase Elliott will get a playoff waiver, so he'll be able to a waiver for the playoffs thing, which I guess I still got to win a race, I think, but because you don't even need the top 30 requirement anymore. You just need to win a race. So hopefully he can do that once he comes back. But at least we have a good timetable. I expected it to maybe even be a little bit longer than 6 weeks. 6 weeks is still quite a long time, though, for a broken leg. But hopefully he can come back and win a race or two and get into the playoffs and reinvigorate his career. So we'll have to see how that goes. Some other news. Shingrix, that's all in caps, by the way, is going to sponsor Joe Gibbs cars for 4 races. That was announced.
I'm just waiting for the right moment to see a race car that shows Pringleson on it.
That's right,
I
baby.
can't wait for
That's
that.
right, baby. Other big news: the Turn 3 Martinsville wall, aka the one with the Hail Melon, was removed.
No!
It's gonna be memorialized and honored at the track. They're probably gonna put it out on the track somewhere, like on the concourse outside the track, or whatnot.
Now I want to go to Martinsville this year.
Ross Chastain was actually in attendance to help remove the wall, and I'm assuming they're probably gonna replace it to help prevent that from ever happening again. And also gonna put a little piece of it commemorating it, so that's gonna be pretty cool. So Kimi, I don't know if we talked about this already. There's a couple things on here that I think were already leaked to happen, and they're now just been fully announced. But Kimi Räikkönen, I don't know how you pronounce his last name. I don't remember.
Kimi Räikkönen.
He's going to drive the Trackhouse number 91, the Project 91 car at COTA. So that was announced. William Byron is going to run 3 truck races for Kyle Busch Motorsports in the 51, but he's going to have the I think it's not the HenryCars.com. It's a similar paint style.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
A few other news things. The colleague. Oh, go ahead.
Did you talk about Jenson Button?
I got that. We can get to that.
Okay.
There was a fine after the Xfinity Vegas race. The crew chief for the Colleague 16 car was fined because during post-race inspection they had a loose lug nut that wasn't secured properly. So there was, I believe, Colleague got fined, and also the crew chief was fined. I don't think there's any suspension though, as far as what I could read. And then so episode or 2 ago, we talked about the new aero package that they're doing for the short tracks. They're going to reduce the spoiler height, take a few things out of the front end, try and make the downforce better. That aero package is coming early. It's coming this weekend, actually, at Phoenix. So, on the 1 mile track. So, we'll get to see how it works out and get to see how that works. So, that'll be good. And then, like Hitmaster said, Jenson Button is going to run 3 cup races in the 15 car for Rick Ware Racing, starting at Circuit of the Americas.
Speaking of I also found out that NASCAR is going to implement the choose rule at road courses beginning at COTA.
I'm sorry.
Okay. He got so surprised about that made him choke.
Okay, we're good. Whew, okay. Yeah, is COTA the first road course race? I thought there was one before it.
The first race is COTA.
Okay, this must be not too far. What's the word for it? Not too far away then. That's the word.
Nope. I can look at the schedule to see when they do it, but continue.
But yeah, that's really all the other extra news stuff that I had.
Actually, yeah, COTA. So COTA is right after Atlanta.
Oh wait, that was not all I had to talk about, but yeah. Well, cool. That's cool.
March 26th.
So, got to talk about the broadcasting crew for a little bit here too.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think we have to. I mean, we talked about. Daytona. They were absolutely awful. They weren't much better at Auto Club. They weren't much better at Vegas. Like said before, it's already been confirmed that Harvick is going to go into the booth full time in 2024. Tony Stewart was on a podcast recently with somebody, I don't remember his name, and he confirmed that he is being fired from Fox after this season. He's got 4 or 5 races left, and then he's done in the booth. And Harvick's going to replace him. And a lot of people are not happy about that. A lot of people both want Danica gone, and they want Clint Bowyer gone.
Yeah, nobody asked for Danica to join.
I thought it would be fun, though, if we could maybe figure out a way to improve it. Talk about a couple ways that maybe we could improve the broadcast booth. Because ever since, really even before the main 3 broke up, which was Larry Mack, Mike Joy, and Darrell Waltrip, they weren't always liked, but I think looking back now, a few years after they broke up and departed and whatnot, we even saw Larry Mack come back as far as like the rules analyst guy for a little bit. But Darrell Waltrip is not back at all. But
You know what I hope they do?
What is that?
I hope they do for North Wilkesboro, the All-Star race. They bring throwback announcers. What I mean by throwback announcers, which I mean throwback drivers. So for the whole entire race, they should have 3 drivers that have actually raced at North Wilkesboro. Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon makes sense because he's the last winner at the track.
Richard Petty.
Richard Petty would be good.
And for one time only, come back, Darrell Waltrip. Hear those famous boogity 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 back. So, I mean, that would be a good throwback.
That would be a good throwback. They've done throwback broadcasters before.
They did that to Darlington.
Did it Darlington, right? And I think it could definitely work for North Wilkesboro, but I'm thinking more of a permanent change. Because it's obvious that Fox is falling way behind NBC when it comes to the broadcasting booth and like TV watching experience for the races. And that's saying something because I really do not like NBC's broadcasting crew. But this year especially, I've been able to really set Fox apart from NBC. They're both awful. Fox has been atrocious this year. And I think it comes down to the fact that it's not all on the broadcasters themselves, like their personalities. Clint Bowyer was not the best racer, but he's pretty knowledgeable in racing, right? And he's like the fiery personality. Danica Patrick should not be in the booth, okay? First of all,
or in a race car.
Put that out there right now. I think Tony Stewart is great for the booth. He's calm, which is saying something for Tony Stewart.
Especially since he's an owner of a team.
Right. I think that's probably... I guess that's maybe why... I don't know why they're kicking him out for Harvick. I guess they don't want to... I don't know. I don't know why they're kicking... He didn't really explain it when I saw the clip from the podcast he was on.
I mean, I don't know why they took away Jeff Gordon.
They took away Jeff Gordon because he got... That's when Jeff Gordon left. Jeff Gordon left because he got a big stake of Hendrick. I believe that's why he left Fox. Because he wanted to focus on that. That was more of his decision. Fox didn't fire him because of that. But that's why Gordon left. And so, you have to think about... I guess you have to think about it that way. First thing, like I said, it's not all of them. It's mostly because they go to commercial every 5 minutes. They have to do a product placement for everything. And so I think kind of the emphasis on talking about NASCAR is kind of lost because they have to keep talking about sponsors and companies every 2 minutes in the race. And it doesn't give them a lot of room to talk about things. I could even see it like... Was that it? Was that at the race? It might have not been at the race. Yes, I think it was at the race where they had... Where like somebody... I think Danica... Was it Danica? I think Danica was talking about something a driver was doing. He was talking about Tyler Reddick making a good move on the track early in the race. And Mike Joy stopped her mid-sentence and said, okay, we've got to do the Rebelsis look-ahead cam, whatever the fuck it meant. You know why? Because the sponsors tell them, you got to talk about it me at this time, otherwise you're not, at this moment, otherwise you're not getting paid at all. So they literally have to break up sentences, and I think that's one of the main reasons why it doesn't flow well, it feels too stale, and now that's not the complete reason, but I think that's a reason. The other reason, one, get Danica out of the booth, but two, I don't like there being two former drivers with Mike Joy. the reason why I think the Daryl, Larry, and Mac combo worked is because Mike Joy was the prime broadcaster. Larry Mack was the crew chief. Daryl was the driver. So you had all three perspectives.
So you have a perspective of like a crew chief, you have a perspective of a driver, and then a broadcaster can ask the people, okay, what do you think in this situation if you were out there?
Right. And so I think, but with two drivers, especially two different personalities of drivers, one who's, my camera just went full ape shit. Well, it's fine. So you have Clint Boyer and Tony Stewart, who on camera have two completely different personalities. Actually, I'm going to shut my camera off for a minute. Hold on. Let's fix this out. There we go. That's redder. There we go. Well, like, I don't know. It's just like having Tony in the booth and Clint Boyer. They contradict each other because they have different opinions on how the cars work and how to drive them and how the strategy should work. With only one driver, you can get a different perspective, but it's not necessarily going to contradict the opinions because they're coming from two different perspectives. Where Tony Stewart and Clint Boyer, or even Danica Patrick, they're coming from the same perspective, and they have different opinions on how it's supposed to work. And that just causes conflict. It just confuses the viewer. It's just not good. I don't think.
I think with Steve Letarte it was good too because, I mean, like you said, crew chief, driver.
That's probably why it works better for NBC, who's got Rick Allen, who's the broadcaster, Steve Letarte, the crew chief, Jeff Burton, the driver. I hate that. I hate Jeff Burton is awful in the booth, so I wish they would get any other driver, but like, I don't know. It's still, the flow is better, so it really can't say it's...
Who's the announcers on USA?
It varies depending on the race. Now, okay, so for Fox, don't even get me started on the secondary broadcast for like the truck and the Xfinity. Jamie Little headlined the truck race broadcast. Oh my God, she's a really good pit reporter, but she is not built for the booth. I'm sorry, Jamie Little. You're really good in the pits, but that's about it.
Maybe they'll put Jennifer Jo Cobb in there.
Same with Dave Burns. He used to do a lot of what was called the Nationwide Series. He used to do a lot of nationwide races during the summer, especially. He's not good either. I don't like Dave Burns in the booth either. But that's secondary stuff. I'm talking about the main stuff here. I had another point I wanted to make and I forgot. I don't remember. The problem is, though, to get a crew chief, there's not a lot of crew chiefs out there that would be willing to give up the spot in the pits to go to the booth, or like retired crew chiefs. I think not so.
Chad Knaus would do it.
Chad Knaus would do it. I think he would, and he'd work. Like I think, but like,
this is what should happen. Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson should be a part of the booth. Like when Jimmy Johnson's not racing the races, he'd be announcer.
That's my other point. That's my other point. I don't think owners should be in the booth. I don't. Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, I don't think they should be in the booth because they have biased feelings on but they have biased feelings on certain drivers in the field, and so you're not going to get a complete wholesome reaction or like analysis of the drivers in fair because of the fact that like take Jimmy Johnson when they brought him on as a guest for the Clash, and then whoever's in the 43, Nora Gragson or whoever crashed, like while he was talking. Like that's what I'm talking about, right? Same with Tony Stewart and with one of his cars crashes. Same with Jeff Gordon if a Hendrick car crashes. You're just not going to get that. It's going to be an unfair opinion, unfair perspective. The problem is a lot, like even Dale Jr. for NBC, he's got his own team. He should not be doing Xfinity races because he has a stake with, he owns Junior Motorsports. And the same thing, if Junior Motorsports moved up to Cup, I'd say get him out of the booth too. Because I just don't think it's right. Like, I'm not. The problem is a lot of drivers who are fit for the booth do have a team or a stake of a team in some sort. Think even Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, at least used to have his own race team. I don't know if he does anymore. Dale Jr., like I said. So it's getting harder and harder to find them, but you could definitely find them. Like Clint Boyer doesn't. So that, I mean, Danica Patrick doesn't, but why would she? But that's what I'm saying. Like, don't have owners in the booth kind of thing. That's what I was gonna say to try and fix the whole thing. I guess that's maybe another reason why the Darrell Waltrip thing worked. Because I guess he had a race team, but it was in the lower division, like the Xfinity and stuff, and he didn't do those. He only did Cup. So it worked. Larry Mack, well, the Yates cars were all but gone when he started broadcasting, so it didn't really matter. 28 was gone, so it didn't, like, you know. That's my whole perspective on it.
I forgot Darrell Waltrip even had a racing team.
He used to. I don't think he does anymore, but he used to.
I know Michael Waltrip had a racing team.
Many people remember that.
Oh no, my arm itches.
Does your arm itch? You want to itch it? You better itch it. Spins out.
If you guys don't know that, that's the Richmond thing.
But yeah, that's my whole thing on it. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add or your own suggestions about that whole situation.
Danica Patrick needs to go. Needs to be away with NASCAR in general. I mean, she didn't even win a race in NASCAR. I mean, in the Xfinity Series, yeah, but no one really looks at Xfinity as, oh, that counts as a win.
Well, I mean, like, I guess they don't even need to be successful. They just need to not be walking advertisers or like 100% favoring a certain driver in the field. Is like what I'm saying. And I give kudos to like Tony Stewart for having a pretty unbiased opinion on it. But even so, something happens, like he's going to, like I remember in 2007, Denny Hamlin and Tony Stewart got in a crash at Daytona when they were racing at Joe Gibbs together. And then they got into a big fight and Joe Gibbs had to break it up and it was like a whole thing. Imagine if Joe Gibbs was in the booth when that happened, when the crash happened. Like, of course you're going to get of course he's going to, like, you know, be pissed off and whatnot. It just doesn't have a place in the booth, I think. So, I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. I would say put Larry Mack. I do think Larry Mack should go back to the booth. I really do. Unless I don't know why he left in the first place. I think it's because he wanted to step down from that position, and I get that.
Or put Jamie McMurray in it.
Yeah, I mean that could work too. I don't know exactly. Because Larry Mack is still technically like a fourth broadcaster. He does like the technical analysis and stuff. Like what he was already doing when he was a broadcaster. And I think he was a pretty good broadcaster, looking back on it. Now, obviously, he works better when there's... It's like... I know a lot of people want Clint Boyer gone. I don't think here's my thing. still try Clint Boyer, but don't put another driver with Clint Boyer. That would be the temporary solution. Maybe try Larry Mack back in the booth with Clint Boyer, and then maybe interchange drivers alongside Larry Mack and Mike Joy, or find another crew chief in Larry Mack's spot. Any of that could really work, I think. I don't mind the different drivers in the booth, like Mark Martin, Danica Patrick, Tony Stewart, that kind of thing. I think it's cool. I think you get, more perspectives, more things, and you can see more drivers and stuff like that. I'd love to see Mark Martin in the booth full time, but I know he's not going to do that. I think he was awesome in the booth.
Because he getting a little old. Also, I hope everyone respects Mark Martin for what he did for NASCAR and what he's doing for NASCAR, because you realize this man drove till he couldn't drive no more, and when he retired, he looked very, very old.
Well, he drove until he couldn't drove no more, and then he drove some more because Rick Hendrick gave him a contract. He almost won a championship with him, so. But yeah, that would be my solution to the whole thing. Obviously, it's not going to be what it was 20 years ago just because of all the ads, all the product placement, all the stuff with social media. They can't say what they used to say. It's not going to be the same. We have to come to that realization. But it could definitely be better than what it currently is. So, that's what I'd do. I don't know if you want to get anything you want to add on to that, but
There's nothing else I can think of.
Okay. Without further ado, it's that time of the episode again where we preview Phoenix. All 3 series are in Phoenix this weekend, I believe. 4th race of the season, final of the West Coast Swing for March. We just double check that every series is in town.
They got Atlanta too, but that's not on the west side.
Yep. Xfinity's in Phoenix, and the trucks. Oh yeah, trucks off. Okay, trucks off this weekend. So just Xfinity and Cup. So who we got for the Xfinity race?
I'm actually gonna have to look this up, or who's in the Xfinity series. I'm gonna go with Austin Hill. He's won 2 of the last 3 races for Richard Childress. I think he's gonna win it. So I really do think Austin Hill will take it.
I think Chandler Smith is going to rebound. He almost had it in Las Vegas. I think he's going to get it at Phoenix. I think he's going to redeem himself. That's going to be my choice. All right, now our Cup predictions. Who we think is going to get the job done in Phoenix?
Where are you at? I'm looking up the drivers. I can't believe I even don't know who the drivers are right now. I'm gonna choose. If this is difficult. You know what? I'm gonna go out with a Slim here, and I'm gonna go with Brad Keselowski.
Wild.
He seemed pretty decent at Las Vegas. So I think that Brad Keselowski will win.
All right. I'm going to do what you've been doing the last few weeks for my choice. Now I'm going to pick Kevin Harvick. Here's why. There's a select few tracks on the schedule that I think Harvick could get a win at. This is the first race that I think he has an actual legitimate shot to win. He's been really good at Phoenix over the course of his career. He hasn't won there in a while. I think his last win was 2016. so he hasn't even won there since Stewart Haas went to Ford. But
Oh yeah, I forgot they were Chevy at one point.
so yeah, I think it can be done though. I think, and the spring race is usually the one he does better in. He has won in the fall before, so it wouldn't be completely out of the realm of possibility that he wins the championship race. But I think he'd have to be in the final four to even win, because it always seems like that's what has to happen. But I think Harvick could get it done here and get a win. I also think he could win next week, seeing his first Cup win came in the spring Atlanta race, and they're going to Atlanta. So, but that's for next week's episode. So,
Trying to see if I can find the paint schemes for the for Phoenix, but I don't think they have it up.
probably be able to find it. Anyways, that was I think unless you got anything else to add, Hitmaster, I think we're
There's
to go.
been no news on Corrigan Oil, so not that I can really say.
Alright. Well, that's going to do it for this episode then. Talking NASCAR podcast. Thank you to Brian for coming on. I wish they could have stood for the rest of the episode, but that's alright. Well, sounds like they had a fun time, so that was fun. Next week we will talk about what happened at Phoenix, preview Atlanta, and hopefully get some good stuff to talk about in between. So it should be good stuff. So thank you, Hitmaster, for coming on again, once as always. And until next time, if you want to be a guest, let us know in the comment section. We can get you on the Discord, talking NASCAR roll. You know, Hitmaster, you got a friend or two you want to bring on for an episode at some point. So continue to get that worked out. But till then, we will see you guys later. Goodbye.